Son and welcome to Rauta's Reviews. This time we have a black trash band from Norway, Nocturnal Breed. Those of you who have been in the scene following extreme metal from Norway for a long time know that this is a rather old band coming all the way from mid-90s, 1996. And back in the days this was, I guess, a lot of people, including me, known as a side project of a couple of demo burger guys, where the focus was to do just kind of a more alcoholic, beer-infused extreme metal and let not forget those thrash metal roots. However, since that, the lineup has obviously changed a few times, and we really can't say it's the same band in that sense anymore. To me, personally, two early albums are the best in the discography, but ever since the band has been going on with the kind of old school ways, blending thrash and black metal together with the kind of a rock and roll mentality, leather pants, all the way denim, spikes and stuff. So, whereas Timo Berger obviously went more symphonic ways and more melodic and all that stuff, and became a big band, all that stuff, Nocturnal Breed just kept going the old school way. It's almost like black trash version of Motorhead in so many ways. At least partial anyway. But here it is, and as you can see, this promotional copy doesn't really have a inlay, so I really don't know what's there, but assuming more art and track list. And by the way, this cover is, in my opinion, pretty cool. Carry the Beast. Kind of a goatee skeleton head with a lot of fantasy elements in it. So here we have Metal Archive's site for the given band, and as you can see, the discography is not that huge, but it's not small either. Quite a few of weird compilations and some splits and EPs, whatever. 7 full albums. So the band has never been exactly the super active, but never much sort of really hiatus. Early years, obviously the most active ones. Within like 4 years, the band was able to put out 3 first albums. As you can probably see, a lot of people tend to value the early works here. Even though Fields of Rot, which I have totally missed, seems to be the highest rating here, which is interesting. I guess I should go for that. But for example, Napalm Nights, which is probably the latest album which I got to review back in the days when it was released, was something like a 7 out of 10. I mean, pretty okay, but not exactly great. And unfortunately, the same thing is somewhat the thing here with Carry the Beast as well. Don't get me wrong. This is by no means a bad album, not even a lukewarm, but if I would call it great, I would be lying, at least a little bit. This one runs you just forget to just focus on the really good stuff. You just go kind of overboard. Like, just because we have all the songs, I mean, why not to release them? Where the exact proper answer would be like, no, you just focus on the good shit, put some 35 minutes or whatever you need to fill a vinyl album with 40 some, and that's it. Don't just go overboard it, but instead 12 tracks and quite a lengthy ones. I mean, thrash metal is not exactly known for 8-7 minute tracks. Well, Metallica is here raising once again hand, shut the hell up. The thing here is, most of the point, like right to the point kind of a thing. I mean, all your message is already said and done by 4 minutes or so. So you really don't need that 8 minutes, 37 seconds with Knights of Denim. I mean, like, come on. Now the point here is, there's just too much filler rather than killer, and I think that's the main problem with Carry the Beast. Also, the production is not that good. It's kind of a mediocrity, and the thing here is, it's not like super weak and all that stuff, but it lacks the punch. I'm not talking about the death metal HM2 kind of a super heaviness. I'm not talking about the Rammstein level of, massive production or some overly produced death metal albums, all that stuff, but just kind of a, cutting guitar sound which is ready to shred your meat from the bones and all that stuff. That kind of a thing could really be the thing here as well. Take it from the big guys, bands like Anthrax or Slayer if you need a cue here, but all I'm saying, this production could be a lot better. And then you have these vocals. There are like two different main vocal styles here, and none of them are really good. It's actually kind of a high screamy with a little bit of like voice loss and trying to make these scream vocals. And you get the idea. Not that powerful, not that convincing, not that great. Doable, sure, but more like, okay, you're doing demo recordings. How about the real ones? And then you have the other kind, which is kind of a passable for black trash thing, but not really like, wow, yeah, let's make a big fuss about it. So now that I got the negativity out of my veins here, it's time to focus on the good stuff. So how does a 71 minutes album with not that great production, not too shabby vocals and all that stuff turn into actually quite a decent album? Now that's an interesting thing, and it all boils down to these rather good riffs. Whether we are talking about some guitar leads here or guitar solos, some melodic parts or the kind of a black trash thing, yeah, it's actually right there. I mean, you kind of have the Nocturnal Breed, Nocturnal Bleed, that would be a death metal name. Nocturnal Breed thing here going on, which then again saves a lot. I mean, it saves in the terms of like, this could have been a flat out disaster, like, okay, it's not worth a listen to, but now it's actually pretty decent after all. But this only makes me wonder, if only with sharper production, better vocals, and less of a filler material, this could have been easily, like, I don't know, 8 out of 10 album. Or at least very, very close to it. Now it's hardly a 7. And that seems like I'm a little bit exaggerating here, but then again you have to understand that I come from a trash background. And that means I really like when, you know, bands like this or noir blend their stuff with black metal stuff. So it's almost like, which isn't happening too often, it's almost like the best of both worlds. So often black trash bands or death trash bands or black death trash bands or whatever fail to do that. And instead they sound like worse versions of black metal, worse versions of death metal, and so on. But, you know, Nocturnal Breed, like I said, the original 2 albums, they're really, really great ones, and I like to listen to them. And they kind of like, okay, where's my beer kind of a thing. That's like getting back to the youth mentality when it was all about listening to some cool albums, hanging out with your friends, and, you know, having a beer. And this is not getting the same vibe. I mean, like I said, it's pretty decent of an album, but it could be just a lot more better. And that, I guess, is my only real complaint with it. Like I said, it's very listenable, and it might get you to fire up the barbecue and get that beer. But then again, you will only go for, okay, let's just listen to the early stuff because it's so much better. But that being said, check out the album. It's out on June 23rd. And that's it. You will find it probably in your favorite streaming services. Or if you like physical copy, which does complement this kind of a great cover art. I mean, come on, this is beautiful. Go for the physical product. And I hope you enjoy it. That's pretty much of it. Take care and have a beer for me. Bye-bye.